But early here. Let's start the Benny, huh? Lose track of it? Come on.
Presenting Benny Goodman and his music.
All right, there we go. It's alive. It's like the air conditioning is alive. Hey, Luann, Betsy, Chris, Karen, Martin, Eileen, Susan, Marie, Kathleen, Mona, and Dina. Hey, everybody. Welcome along. Karen, congrats. Hey, morning, Jim. Hey, Karen. Hey, Todd. Hey, everybody else out there.
Benny Goodman, ladies
Hey,
and
gang,
gentlemen,
absolutely
the man with the
hydrate.
florid clarinet and the even more torrid band who purveys assorted rhythms, all danceable, in the urban room of the Congress Hotel
Hey,
in
Sherry.
Chicago. And first of all, one of Irving Berlin's
That's
greatest
over about the
hits,
next hour
Blue
or so
Sky.
that the heat's going to really pick up, so I got everything I needed to done. Hey, everybody. This afternoon I got a conference with a ticketing company. Eventbrite is changing all of their structure. I think they've been charging too many fees as it is, and now they're going to start charging more. And, you know, I think I can give you all a better deal than what I'm getting from Eventbrite. Morning, Octavio. Sweating to the oldies, yep. Volumes 1, 2, and 6. Hey, Diane, Carol, Vicky. Hey, Debbie, Kathleen, Julianne. I'm missing people. All right, welcome along, everybody. Hey, Beth. There you go, Jai. Hey, Jennifer. Good morning, everybody. So, I got a lot to do today besides more. I stumbled into a really good Oakwood story yesterday. Just a really good one. It was one of those ones, you know, I just took a lot of pictures of stuff that I know is going to be along the route to look up later. And hey. Hey, Glenn, got a message. All right. And people have already got their books. I can't believe it. I just submitted that thing on like Saturday, and on Tuesday people got copies. How's it look? I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I need to order a couple of cases. Morning, Lori. Hey, everybody. Once again, it looks like we might be moving away from Eventbrite. They're going to start charging me $10 per event for one thing. And I think their fees have gone up for ticket buyers. Hey, Ginger. Morning, Lisa. So, I'm talking to some other people. Octavio, for the walking tours, yes. Patreon tickets still work for the walking tours for me. Basically, any walking tour where I control the ticketing, so not the zoo. And with the buses, I need the overhead. I don't think, but by the way, I don't think the second bus tour, at least, is going to be anybody except Mysterians. I don't think those ones are ever going to go public. Laura, there's a few different places that I'm talking to. I got a conference with one called Peak later this afternoon that used to try to recruit me quite a bit. I'm glad you guys are liking the book. I hate to bug people for reviews on Amazon, but those really do help. It's like, as a consumer, I hate being bugged to do homework. Like the boat tour companies, they always wanted me to bug people to go on TripAdvisor or whatever. I just don't like doing that. I don't like it as a... Kathleen, don't worry about scannable tickets from Eventbrite. I never actually need those. I'll have your name on the list. That's the only thing you really need. Yeah, if you like the Goes to Chicago book, please do put up a review on Amazon. That really does help.
Benny Goodman presents Helen Ward singing With All My Heart.
Thanks, Susan. We'll give it just another minute for Benny to keep on singing, then I'm going to show you guys a video. You have to be tall for the bus tour. No. Yes, you must be this big to ride this ride. I put in a few jokes in the what to expect part there. So I'm amazed people have already got their copies of Ghost of Chicago. I just put that thing up like over the weekend, and people were getting copies on Tuesday. I mean, look, there's any number of things wrong with Amazon. There's no good choices in capitalism, but Amazon treats me better than any publisher or local independent bookstore I ever had. Audrey, yes, I had Cheerios. Hey, Katie. Hey, Dina. I got horror stories about local independent bookstores for days. And they didn't even carry my book. As many things are wrong with Amazon, they're not bad ideas for authors whose books are out of print. If it says you must be this big to ride this ride, that big is 3'6". And we'll make exceptions. Does the bus have facilities? It should. I will double check with the company when they send it to me, but 55 plus buses almost always do. Hey, Florecita. Mona, the bus is scheduled to be a 55. I'm not selling 55 tickets, so I want to have a little bit of extra room. But all right. With oil the sky to tell the skies above you to say again I love you with all my heart. I can sometimes avoid the temptation to say all my fart right there. So welcome along, everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago, working from home because it is hot enough to boil a monkey's bum out there, as the Queen would say. So I'm Adam Seltzer, author of such books as Mysterious Chicago, the book, H.H. Holmes, The True History, Smart Aleck's Guide to American History. Now, when they put that one up on Amazon initially, for some reason, its description was for some book called Mind Over Matter that had nothing to do with what I had written. It was a big disaster. That's Random House for you. Also, Murder Maps USA, Graceland Cemetery, Chicago Stories, Symbols, and Secrets. And way back in 2013, I did the Ghosts of Chicago book, which, as many of you know, is now available in a 10th anniversary edition that you can get exclusively on Amazon in print or for your Kindle. I've kept the prices at the same price they were 10 years ago, which is pretty cool. So thanks to everybody who's ordered it. People, I put this thing up on Saturday and people already have copies of it in hand. That's incredible to me. I have also not even seen one myself, so I hope it looks okay. I did as many proofs as I could digitally, but it's really just not the same thing, I should have just gotten one for myself just to see, but nah. Anyway, let's move on a little bit here. So, well, first of all, also, once again, many of you already know, there was a little bit of a hiccup in the rollout and getting all the links there, but Mystericon.com is now up. All of the events for Mystericon are now listed. You can push the buttons. You can buy tickets. The bus tours in particular are selling out quickly. They will probably never go public, which is probably for the best, especially for the party bus. That should just be, we'll just have that all be Mysterians. So, all right. Yeah, 10 years from now, it'll be on eBay for $400. No, probably, this is the thing about Amazon, is they can keep it in print. It's print on demand. Whenever somebody orders it, they'll just print one up. What a concept. But all right, so today we're actually going to go back in time a little bit to one of my previous books. 7 years ago, I did a YA novel called Just Kill Me, which is all about a ghost tour guide who makes places more haunted by killing people at them. One thing, I've been thinking a lot about Hull House lately. Late October, I will be doing an In Conversation With thing at Hull House where we're going to talk about the ghost lore and the haunting stories there and the ghost stories and the urban legends about Hull House. It used to be that they would not talk about this stuff. Now they've gotten a little bit more open about it. But it features as a location. It's one of the biggest chapters in the Ghosts of Chicago book, and also features regularly as a location in Just Kill Me. So back in 2016, when that book was about to come out, Random House had me make a bunch of videos to promote it. They did not provide a budget for this, nor did they promote the videos very much. Most of them they didn't even really post, and they got about 25 views each. Publishing is a deeply demoralizing business. But everybody, here's one of them that was all about Hull House. Hey, I'm Adam Seltzer, author of a new book called Just Kill Me. It's all about a ghost tour guide who makes places more haunted by killing people at them. It's full of real historical mysteries, and this is behind the book. When I started doing ghost tours, the mansion called Hull House had been a staple of them for 30 years. There were a lot of stories there, stories of phantom monks, a ghostly little girl, a woman in white, a devil baby, workers trying to keep ghosts in the attic, even that classic sign of B-list American ghost stories, a tale that it was built on an Indian burial ground. These were great, but like Indiana Jones says, we cannot afford to take mythology at face value. Some of these stories had a kernel of truth behind them, but after several decades of being retold, they had become a mix of information, misinformation, and some outright fiction. Now, some of the stories just came out of the pictures people got there that looked like ghosts. Like, the Phantom Monk stories probably came from people taking pictures of the stairway through the window and getting these shots that looked like hooded figures coming down the stairs. But what they really were are reflections of people's ears. See the earring? But more of the stories turned out to be rooted in fact than I would have guessed. In 1889, a woman came to town named Jane Addams who turned the place into a settlement house. She practically invented American social work here. Eventually, she won a Nobel Peace Prize. In her memoir, she did say that when she moved in, it was already said to be haunted, and that the previous tenants had been setting up buckets of water on top of the stairs, apparently because of superstitions that ghosts could not cross water. And this was a superstitious neighborhood. A lot of residents had just moved from small villages in Europe, and one of the hardest things to adjust to in America was finding out that a lot of things that you'd grown up believing were just local superstitions to everybody else. And in 1913, they really did have a devil baby scare in the neighborhood. A rumor went around that somewhere inside of Hull House they were hiding a baby that was born with bright red scaly skin, horns, hooves, and the ability to swear in 3 languages. It was all they heard about there for 6 weeks. People were lining up trying to pay admission to see the thing. Now, the same thing had gone around in cities like Cleveland, St. Louis, and D.C. before, but usually people lined up wanting to kill the thing. At Hull House, they just wanted to see it. It's baby steps, but it's progress. Now, there was never any such baby, but Jane wrote a whole book about that month, so at least it was a real rumor, not just something tour guides made up in the 70s. And I assumed the story of employees being afraid of a haunted room that had a ghostly woman in white was pure fiction, but that turned out to have a primary source. I don't think the staff took it that seriously, but one of Jane's friends wrote a memoir talking about the haunted room and said that Jane herself saw a ghost there. Here's how I retold her story on my tours. Now, there are still people around the city who absolutely insist that that devil baby story was true. I even get emails now and then from people who say that they've seen the thing. Or it's a ghost by now, I guess. Looking out of the upstairs window on the right-hand side. And it's interesting that they always go with that window, too, because that was the guest bedroom, as near as we can figure, that even Jane Addams herself used to call the haunted room. It was kind of like a running joke among the staff that that one was haunted. Nobody ever got a good night's sleep in there. And Addams was not a big believer in ghosts, but she loved ghost stories. So she had to try it out. She and her partner, Mary Roget Smith, spent exactly 1 night in that place. In the middle of the night, Addams woke up hearing a rustling sound. She said, "Mary, is that you?" But Mary was still lying in the bed next to her, so she looked out at the foot of the bed and saw what appeared to be a woman in an old-fashioned rustling dress just staring down at the two of them. She tried to turn on the gaslight to get a better look, but as she did, the woman just vanished like a breath into the wind. And she never decided that what she had seen was actually a ghost, but she also never spent another night in that room, I don't think. And the woman in the rustling dress was seen all throughout her lifetime and really well on beyond. Now, the most recent sighting I know of that particular ghost was about 3 weeks ago. So, making the very broad leap to assume that the woman in the rustling dress is a real ghost, not just a trick of the light, most people have assumed that it was Mrs. Hull, who built the place with her husband Charles in 1856. That's what they told me when I first started doing tours, but no one at the time could tell me her name, or when she died, or how she died, or anything about her, really. Getting the basics turned out to be remarkably easy. When you walk into Rose Hill Cemetery, the statue of Charles Hull is right by the entrance. Below it is a gravestone giving his wife's name as Millicent. She died in 1860, almost 30 years before Charles did. Now, Charles wrote an autobiography. Only copy I could locate was at the Newberry Research Library in Chicago.
Cool place. It's named after Walter Newberry, who was allegedly buried in a barrel of rum at Graceland Cemetery, though that's a whole other mystery for a whole other book. This is the kind of place where they have things like a 1623 Shakespeare First Folio. Copies of this run about $5 million when they sell at auction. They don't just keep theirs under glass, they'll bring it out and let you read it and touch it and smell it. It smells like bowling shoes. Not quite as valuable as the folio, but possibly even rarer, is the autobiography of Charles Hull. Interesting guy. He talks about owning a tavern in upstate New York when he was about 12. Mostly it's his diary, so it's like getting a trip inside of the mind of an eccentric Victorian man. There is a diary entry from when Melisande died that seems to confirm that she died in the house. Also, a couple of passages confirm something I had seen in a newspaper article about him that mentioned that he was interested in spiritualism, seances. That means it's entirely possible he would have held seances inside of the house. Of course, after I started saying that on tours, I started hearing other guides saying that he was definitely holding seances there, and then that he was a famous medium whose wife carried on doing seances there after his death during the Civil War. I don't even know where to begin saying what's wrong with that, but it's a really good example of how ghost lore evolves. I found even more when I was looking up another book that was in the special collections room at the University of Chicago Library. I love it when I get to research in schools I never could have gotten into. While I was looking up a book there, I also happened to find a pamphlet on Hull's life from 1867, which finally gave me a cause of death for Melisande: tuberculosis. More importantly, it included a poem she wrote when her son died. That poem gives us the best glimpse we have into Melisande Hull's heart and mind and life. So if she was the only woman who died in the house, it would be a pretty easy case. But she wasn't. In the 1870s, the place was a home for the elderly run by nuns for a while. During that period of time, many more people would have died inside of it. And even if a lot of the stories there are fiction or false positives, look, we've got nuns, spiritualists, deaths in the house, devil baby scares. Adams wrote about a funeral home being on the grounds. A gangster named Samut Samatuna would have gone right by it after he was shot. A guy named Tommy who lived behind it was shot by his brother while he was trying to stab his mother. And so many people saw his ghost that the cops had to run crowd control. And that's just the start. I could explain away a lot of the photos and the stories, but with all that history, it would be a shame if this place wasn't haunted. And it's one of the places that Megan and her crew make more haunted in Just Kill Me, out August 2016 from Simon & Schuster.
Blurb from Delilah Dawson's pretty cool to get. She went on to write Star Wars books. Quite a few of the people I started out with went on to much bigger and better things. Like Dan Krause I used to work with all the time, and I remember we did a signing together that nobody showed up for. He's got a book out now called Whale Fall. He's got a huge buzz about it. But all right, everybody, once again, there is only one way to hawk. But there are lots of ways to enjoy Mystericon at Mystericon.com. You can check that out right now. Not to mention the new Ghosts of Chicago edition is up on Amazon. I am thrilled that people already have it. The Just Kill Me book you can actually still buy in the gift shop at the Chicago History Museum. What a country. I will not take responsibility for the Chicago myths, but sometimes people make misconceptions. People see things that I didn't tell them to see, etc., etc. Kristen, the book is called Whale Fall. I believe it's about a guy who gets eaten by a whale. It happens. So, all right, everybody, once again, some upcoming stuff. We have got a virtual gangster tour tomorrow night, and August 27th, 1 p.m., we will be at Oakwood Cemetery for our first official in-person walking tour there. I just found some really cool stuff there yesterday. And also, you know how at Rose Hill there's like a connective tissue, like so many people connected to Laura E. Dainty? I did find somebody like that at Oak Woods, too. It's the person you'd least suspect, but it's still really cool. So, all right, thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. I'm Adam for Mysterious Chicago Tours. I will see you all tomorrow with another morning mini tour and then the virtual tour. We have got all kinds of stuff coming up, and this afternoon I'm having a conference with a ticketing company that might replace Eventbrite so I can get you all lower fees, get myself lower fees. We'll see how it works. I just got to get it done in time for September 6th so I can list all the October stuff before Eventbrite imposes all of their new fees. So everybody stay hydrated, stay cool, stay watching Ahsoka. I only had time to watch one episode last night, but I'm going to watch the rest. Kind of wish I'd caught up on Rebels first. But I love that Sabina's in it in live action. She was my favorite Rebels character. So thanks a lot. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tours. Kristen, we'll see. We'll see. So thanks a lot for joining me. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago saying to stay safe, stay strong. Wait till you see the next shirt I ordered from Hard Daddy. But of course, the shirt will actually, in fact, help me to stay spooky.